Welcome to the Totally Awesome Outdoor Show. Now, the saying here in the UK is, you are never further than 15 feet from a rat or rodent of some description. We are plagued with them all over the world now in cities because of fast food takeaways, the confines that humans now live in, the throwaway mentality of everything, waste food, and of course they are breeding these rats, these mice. They are creating huge problems and potential major health risks. You only have to look at the Black Death, which killed so many tens of thousands of people, are caused by, yes, rodents, rats, mostly in cities like London. It's historical, you can't get away from that, and you can't get away, well, you can't get away from the disease they carry, end of. How do you want to get rid of them? Now they get in your house, you can hear them chewing away. Sometimes if you've got them, a lot of people say, oh yeah, I've heard that little gnawing noise. Fine. What they do is they sharpen their teeth, which grow and grow and grow. They have to sharpen their teeth to wear them down to a level that they can eat at. They do that on the timbers, but do you know what they also do it on? Electric cable. They love electric cable. Now, it might go spark and it's gone, dead, but it can also burn your house down. Not more than half a mile from me in the countryside here, some people had 3/4 of their house destroyed by mice that chewed through an electric cable. I have mice here because I live on the edge of the country. You can have them in a city, you can have them in a town. You need to get rid fast. The best way you can do it, I feel, is trapping. I've tried poisoning, but if you want to really get rid of them, you start inside first, but you must stop them coming in from the outside because that's what they want. Warmth, heat, everything, food. They want to be in with you, as it were. They might be under the floorboards, they might be in the loft, they might be in the walls, and they can run up the walls. Inside internal cavities, and it's even better if you put that foam in between the cavities. It gives them something to climb up, you know. Insulation, but a staircase for a rodent to go upstairs. I'm going to show you how to trap, and the best thing to do, dispose of the body, because when you get them poisoned, they can go underneath the floorboards, die, and the smell is, and the saying is, I can smell a rat. I'm not surprised, it's horrific, I've had it. Let's go in the garage, I'll show you how I do it and try and get some control on the vermin. You will not get rid of them, but you must try and keep them under control because they will be a danger to you with fires and a potential health hazard. Right, we're now in the Totally Awesome Man Cave. Now, you've got the poisons, as I mentioned earlier, which are like seeds that are coated with the poison. It goes in a little tray and it's supposed to kill them, but of course it's just known internationally that they are becoming very resistant to many of the poisons. So a lot of the professional trappers are resorting to, yes, traps. Because if you have a poisoned rodent in the shape of a rat or a mouse, it can be anywhere. And you'll suppose, it says on the packet, find the rodent and dispose of it. Okay, so you've got wood flooring in oak, expensive. You've got underground heating. You've got expensive carpet. It's in the floorboards. What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to tear it all up for about $5,000 worth? Find Monsieur Le Rat or Mouse, throw him away, nail it all back down, lay it again, and then wait for the next one to come along. So poison, while it does work, trust me, I spent far too much money on poison, and I'm now going the method of trapping because a professional guy told me, if you trap it, you have the body. The trap is either open or it's sprung, and if it's missed, it's going to get one next time. So you can buy for mice regular mouse traps. Now there's a variety of models around. Some are plastic, some are wood. I personally like wood because I do wonder sometimes, is that plastic? Do they smell something in the plastic? I don't know, because you do want to nail their little butts. You don't want to let them get away. And I just think wood is more natural. Now this is a spring one. It's called the Little Nipper. No, I don't sell them. I've just been and bought about 15 of them. Basically, I'll show you in a minute how it works. Is that it's got the hinge at the top and it goes, ouch, and then that's no good for a rat, because a rat will go off with that. Even if it's on his head, he'll just drag it away, especially the big ones that live in the cities. You have a rat trap, much stronger spring. Yes, they should very much be dead with this. That one is caked in whatever's left of the last rat I nailed. So let me show you in close up how they work and how they're tripped. because you do not want to nip your little fingers in them. Now that's just a standard mouse trap. As I say, it can be plastic, can be wood. I personally like wood. That's the support bar that holds the spring back. I'll show you. That's one lever of the coiled spring there. It wraps around and around and around, and the other arm comes up here with a little crossover piece which provides it with, you're trying the energy coiled up in that spring. When it's lever back like this, it's produced a pressure here that wants to force the arm over, and hopefully as they get the bait here, it whacks them on the back of the net. I personally don't mind where it whacks them, as long as it whacks them. So I'll show you how it's going to work, because you know you want to always treat it from the back. Don't get your hands in the front there and mess with it, pulling it back. Excellent chance of you getting that. It's not good. And listen, I would say that's proof of the pudding, but that's nothing. It's a DIY man's personal injury, of which I get many with hammers, nails, saws, power drills, anything. To load it, you just pull the spring back and bring the loose arm up over the top of the spring here into a tiny little hole, if you can see that. Just the hole. I'm going to move it so you can see the hole there just moving. That's the bit that's moving. The bait's going to go on this spike. I'm going to break a piece of cheese off. Just spike it gently on the bait spike there. Line it up. And I keep mine tilted back. Now, this moves. You can see that moves. It has to be, because it's got to be sensitive. So you're going to put the bar in that hole. I'm just going to try and do it slowly. It's much easier to do quicker, actually. And what I do is I gently release the spring pressure. There, I'm just releasing it with this thumb. No, not the one that I hit with the hammer last week. This thumb. I'm just... Now, see, I brought my other hand around the back. I want to be way behind that spring. And this is with the mouse trap. Okay, but I'm keeping it tilted back, so that's pinched in there, and that pin is well through the hole. Going to release it. Okay, it's loaded, it's set. Put it down. Do not put it down hard. Do not drop it. You want to put it down nice and carefully like this. Could go off at any time. Always keep your hand around the back. I'm just going to do this in so you can see it. Now I'm going to do it once. I've no idea. Probably the cheese. Along comes the mouse. Squeak, squeak, squeak. He will squeak when this cracks on his neck, hopefully. Let's get that right in the camera lens there for you. He's going nose up here, his legs are back here. He's going to tread on that to get his head on there. And if he treads on that, just the weight of this screwdriver, just the tip of this screwdriver, whoops-a-daisy, it's all over. It's good night, Vienna. He won't be singing any songs anymore. I'll do that again, and I'll put the camera on slow motion just to see what it looks like myself. Yes, indeedy, even I couldn't see that trap go in slow motion. So you can see, it whacks him on the neck, totally painless, humane, far more humane than poison, that is for sure. And that is exactly how it works. But when you load it, always put it down, tilted backwards, so that weight is there. If it goes too far forward, you barely have to breathe on it, and it's away. It's there. Now the rat trap, exactly the same principle, obviously. A whole different ball game of spring power. Okay, same principle. You have, well, this time not one spring. In this particular one, you've got double locking arms. Each one is linked to a spring of its own. So both of these arms, and it takes some power to get them back, you can see that or not, both of the arms here have separate springs. There is an almighty amount of power in there. Keep your fingers well away. If I'm going to release it. Now, it's also got metal spikes sticking up here to nail him to the ground when that hits. There's some metal spikes hopefully go through his throat or any part of him, because rats do carry diseases. They are disgusting creatures. Unless you've got a pet rat, of course, called Susie. This has got bait spike on the top, so you can put your required. I'm using cheese because I understand that they do like cheese. Okay, the same has got the tripping arm here that comes back up over. I'm going to load that one. Always hands behind it. The bar comes up over the top, and it's got a little trigger mechanism just there. Now this one definitely, you see how it trips easily? Definitely hold it from the back when you put it down. Now that was a basic model. You can also get nice sweet plastic sort of covered ones. They do look cute, do they? They look like a little shoe, a little Dutch clog fits on a foot somewhere, doesn't it? You'll be very mistaken. You do not want a little foot in here, because inside is the jaws of Godzilla there. And it looks like a lovely red tongue he's got as well. So maybe they think it's another rat. Maybe they think they're taking the food out of the other rat's mouth. I'm not even going near there with my fingers. But inside is the same principle, 2 springs. This one is a self-locker, safer than pulling the spring back. So your hands are always at the back here. The same principle applies. I don't even want to go near these things. That if you just touch that, those teeth are going to nail your butt big time. I'll put them both down. I'll show you how these work. Exactly the same. I'll do them in slow motion just so you can see them. One might set the other off. The vibration could actually set both traps off when one springs. Right, we've got the metal trap in the foreground. We've got the plastic friendly Godzilla crocodile jaw looking one in the background here. Whichever one trips, they're so powerful the vibration could set the other one off. So I don't know which is which. But along comes Mr. Rat. Don't forget, he's going to get spiked on these as well. So he steps over there, and the minute he puts his lovely furry little nose on that, it trips and the cheese goes all over the workshop. Same principle with this one. He's going to put his foot on that piece of plastic there. I don't even think we're going to see this move. 1, 2, 1, 2, left, right, left, right. Dear God alive, that one is powerful. Now both of those were pretty impressive. Both of them are going to kill a big rat. My money is on this one. It's called the Big Cheese, if anybody wants it, and it really has got some poke in it, that one. I would definitely, that will break a finger, I feel sure, so be very, very careful. And I like the fact you can load it from the back, keep him well away. Now, if you leave a rat in a trap or a mouse too long, the rats or the mice will eat each other. And I've very often come back and just found a head and a carcass or a heap of red gunk there, where even overnight there's so many infestations in a building, they just eat each other even though they're dead. They take no prisoners. But I find, as well as getting them inside, if you can get them outside, that's going to save you a whole lot of hassle of finding them inside if you do miss them with the trap and you put poison down. But you cannot just lay these traps out. You've got dogs, you've got cats, you've got birds that will come along. You've got to make yourself a little box, and this is what I do. This is for the mouse trap. The rats, I'd never really put them outside unless I cover them and cut a hole in a bucket and put a brick on the bucket, because I don't want a cat or anything to get in there. You want rats, that's what you want. I nearly always just make these like a little box. Just make it out of pallet wood, something that costs you nothing, easy to make. And all you want is, it covers it up, it keeps it safe from anything else getting to it. The only thing to get to it is things like shrews, and even slugs will get in there. And they, if there's no mice around, they will eat all your bait that's going to go as well. But hopefully we're going to nail their butts, and I'll be able to show you some. Right, to make my little mousy condominiums, my little takeaways, that's what I'm going to call them. 4 pieces of pallet wood all cut up. Just as a rough guide, just make them 6 inches long, obviously the width of the pallet wood. But what you want to do is to make enough clearance. I mean, you're going to have a roof, because it's going to be like this. You're going to have 2 sides, okay, and a back. But they can be really basic. What you do want to allow for is here, is the clearance for the spring to go over the top, right? It's got to be higher. If I just hold that there, you can see you don't want to make it too low, and this ends up, hitting the roof, as it were, and you're gonna miss the mouse. So you want to make sure that you've got a good couple of inches of clearance. So get yourself some pallet wood that's higher than the spring of the mouse. I guess that's what I can tell you what it is. Everybody in every country is different. They have different pallets. Yes, it's almost 4 inches. So that gives you clearance, just so that it can actually whack over like that. All you need to do, I'm just using galvanised nails here, and I'm going to whack them in. Couple each side, that's all you need, and that will make it sort of bird safe. That's what, because I like my birds, there's no question. I like all the birds. I wouldn't put a bird box out, otherwise would I? And this way it keeps everything else away from it, except of course rats. Now you will get rats tripping the trap, and you rarely catch a rat in a small mouse trap. So you take a gamble whether you're going for mice or you're going for rats. But if you can start getting the mice before they come into your property, that's the idea of doing this. That makes life so much easier. Once they're inside, they're harder to catch. You've got to find what's called their runs. It's where they travel. They like travelling up and down. They feel safe. If you can find their runs, then a very, very good chance of catching them. You want to leave around the front, not a hole that big. You can get the trap in there. Look, ideal, no problem. But you want to keep birds out and other unwanteds, if you like, in there. So I put a little gateway, and you can even drop it down and put 2 on if you want to make it really small. Trust me, mice will get in tiny, tiny little gaps. Let's put those 2 on the front, make a little door of it. So this is what you're going to be looking at. Obviously, you can see, I'll load this one if I can, just to give you an idea. And what you can do, don't slide the trap underneath and it trips. Put the trap down, tilting it backwards first. Line it up and gently cover it over. I always ease it forward just so that the trap is at the back. And then they're going to go just under here. They're going to poke around there. Oopsie daisy. It is good night Vienna. Now, the other thing I don't do, I don't paint these. I don't like painting them, staining them. I just leave them as raw wood. It's cost me nothing except a few galvanised nails. I believe the more natural the wood, the better. Obviously, because they can smell your hands have been on it. It might take a couple of days for them to get on there because they can smell I've made this. But I feel with the natural wood, you've got a better shot. You might think, God, he's going to kill those poor little mice. Listen to me. You've got to trust me on this. If not, speak to a rodent control officer, and I dare say he will confirm it. They will destroy furniture. They will destroy insulation. They will destroy the insulation around electrical cables with high power in it. That means fire, burning houses, hopefully no fatalities, but what a nightmare to sort out. And of course, you've got no way of knowing whether they're up there chewing away. You can hear them sometimes, especially rats in a rafter in an old building, gnawing away, scraping those front teeth, gnawing on timbers, trying to wear those front teeth down so they can keep feeding. Otherwise they're too big, they can't feed. And they do tell me, if they're too long, they die of starvation because they can't eat properly. I find that difficult being rats, but it'd be handy if they did that, wouldn't it? If they all had long teeth, I wouldn't have to trap them. But what I will show you, up in my loft, this has happened relatively recently, within the last 10 days. I got some very expensive insulation. It's not an old building, done about 6 years ago, with like a double width fireproof, listen to this, fireproof insulation of plasterboard. They have chewed right through it 2 holes like this. Recently, because I always put poison up there and I always put traps. They seem to eat the poison. They love it. Well, you know, I just don't find any up there. With the trap, a screwdriver, with a trap, at least I can get the body out of the house, because you don't know what they're carrying disease-wise. I'll show you what they chewed through. Now the danger here is you think, oh, it's only 2 little holes, little mousy holes. That's fine. But I can't get in that void, what's known as a roof void, and see what damage they've done inside to electrical cables. The other thing that worries me is because it's my son's bedroom, it's a fireproof material or a fire retardant material. It's building regulations, standard stuff we get here in the UK. With 2 holes in it, it's then got oxygen vents which it can whiz in and burn the house down. Now we don't want that, so I will fill those holes up. Bit annoyed when I found them, but more important, I'm going to put 2 traps right by the hole. I hope that they come out and eat the cheese. If they don't, I don't care. I hope they trip over it in the dark and get trapped. But I've got a little bit of a backup here. I have got an informant who can tell me more about the mice. He should know. Now, you may ask yourself how they get in the loft, but they can get in wall cavities and climb right up the wall cavity, so you're going to have to look in the loft, because they love it up there, because let's face it, That's where the heat of the house rises, and you've got all insulation in there. Why would they want to stay outside the house? Why would they really want to go down there? They can go upstairs and be nice and warm. If you're going around in your loft and it's not boarded, get yourself a head torch, because you do not want to put your foot between the joist, between the rafters, and go through the plaster ceiling. So I'll take you up there and we'll see if we can show you those holes that have been chewed in the last week. Now, always make sure you're well supported on joists when you come up in the loft, because you do not want to go through the plasterboard and cause even more problems. And you also need to be about 20 years younger than me. Now this is typically what I mean, if you can see that, is these are the little trays you get with the blue seeds in there that are coated in poison. And as you may be able to see there, they've absolutely eaten the lot. Now when I get that fine powder like that, I tend to find out they're shrews rather than mice. But over here, let me get you over here, I've already got one trap up here. I've had some poison in there. Can you see that? Can you see where they've chewed right through the fire insulation board? They've not touched the poison this side. They've not touched the trap here, but look at what they shred up this board. Now that is solid wood that they're shredding up there. So quite worrying. And you can see there the typical mouse hole there, 2 of them. So they're going to get another dose of traps, and eventually hopefully we'll get them, because what they do is here's the electrical cable, and this is all brand new. You don't need them chewing through this, because then that is closer to the wood. You get a fire and away you go. It's goodbye house. Alright, that gives you an idea of the damage they can do. That's been done literally in the last week. All around here is shreddings where they make it. They're chewing stuff up all the time. They're chewing stuff up to build nests to make even more mice. So we fully intend putting a stop to this. Right, I'm going to go in the second loft. I'm going to put another trap up here and bait 2 that I have up here previously, and I can see in my beam I already have a customer from a previous session. Let's check him out. As you can see there, they have polished off 2 complete trays of poison. They haven't touched that one yet. But this chappie here has got it right across the back of the neck instantaneously. That's one less to chew through my cables and burn the house down. And also, I put a trap here because I believe they come through little tunnels in the cavity of the walls between different roof voids that I've got here. Now what you've got to look for are drop-ins, but like this one here, which I won't be touching anytime soon, my finger, is rats. That's a much bigger one. Put my thumb next to it, you can get an idea of it. That one is rat drop-ins. That's what you're looking for in here. You'll just see there, ping. Oh, there you go. That's the difference in the size between the mouse dropping here, and that's what you're looking for. But obviously here you can see they shredded everything. And here again, get the odd drop-ins. That's where if you've got that in your loft, you know that you've got that. So I'm going to bake this one. Now when you get carcasses like this, what I do is I put them in a plastic bag, I take them outside and I put them on a special wood bird table that all my predator birds, all my raptor birds come down and eat, so they don't get wasted. Well, here we go, we got one customer there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go outside. I'm going to set all the traps around the edges of the building and a couple of other runs I think they're using to get into the house. But I'm going to cover them with those special, well, bird-proof boxes I want to call them. I'll set those and we'll see in the morning if we do get any more customers. But of course, I have got my informant who's going to tell me where to put them. So I've got the traps all set now. There's nothing else to do. But as I say, I have got, the reason I have such a good success rate is I do actually, you know, have an informant. And he's going to come out tonight and just hopefully, you know, tell us, give us a few little tip-offs about them. Oh, he's here now. He's here now. Just get him in. Just a minute. Just look, please don't mention anything about traps. This is some of his relatives are there. Oh, hi there, Mickey. How are you? I'm fine, thank you very much. Are you doing something out here? Yeah, I'm actually, I'm making a film for the Totally Awesome Outdoor Show. What are those things down there? They're wood boxes, so they sort of, they're not for hurting anything, are they? No, they're for, to keep the birds away. We don't want the birds eating all our seed, do we? Oh, I don't think so anyway. All right, just you come over here. I'll just finish doing what I'm doing here with the filming for these YouTube people. But, you know, look, Mickey, don't touch anything, will you? What's that? That's the YouTube people. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Here, I can walk. Let me show you. One leg forward, one leg forward, one leg forward, one leg forward. I think you'll find you fall over if you do that, Mickey. You do one leg after the other. All right. I don't like the look at them people in there. Do they like mice? Some of them won't like mice, I don't think. But listen, hey-ho, it's the way of the world. Really? I'm intrigued by those boxes down there. Let me have a look. No, don't. What's this? It's something to do with fishing. I do a lot of fishing. Doesn't look very fishy to me. Look, I'm gonna put some food on the table in the house. You just stay here and I'll come back and get you. All right, I don't mind. I'll keep an eye on these houses for when my friends come. Right, yeah, I won't be long, Mickey, but don't touch anything, okay? Okay. I don't know what those are. I don't like the look of those. Ooh, he's going to get food. Why did he get food? Because there's some here already. There's some over in this nice white box. It looks good to me. Good enough to eat. Look, can you guys see over there? It looks like a piece of cheese or something. I can't believe it. Hang on a moment. If he's gone to get food, why would he leave some out here? I don't really trust him. I'll see if I can get it out with my foot. I've got to be careful doing this. You've got to be very careful when you do this. Look at me hover. Here I go. Jesus! Jesus Christ! I've already been up in the loft and just had that one, so I've rebaited the traps, but I've left the outside ones. They've been out all night. We've got a mild airflow coming, a low pressure system. That switches things on. Creatures start moving. I want to get round, check the outside traps, see if we've got any takers. Just check these boxes by just lifting them up carefully so you don't trip the spring. If there's a mouse, great. If there's not, just slowly cover it back over and make sure that the trap is right at the back of the box. And moving on to the other side, I'm using the edges here. This is along the edge of the wall where they could get in through the air vents, the brick air vents if there's any broken. And there's a mega rat trap, but no rats today. However, there's a good run there that comes out between the sheds and it goes into my box, and there's the customer straight out from the shed and he's straight into the trap. Well, there you go, guys. You can see by putting it between the shed, just on the edge of their run, that's given me a little bit of an edge, and that mild flow of air, I think, has sparked them all up, and I've got one, and that's one less that's going to chew through the cables in my house or chew up everything inside my shed. There you go, whacked on the back of the head. Yes, you too can have bug eyes popping out of your head like this if you got hit by that spring at speed. So there you go, another run between the, under the leaves we like to keep dry before they go into the house. When it gets cold, they're going to come out of there, go into the house, check the box, put the box on the right line, and you're always in with a chance. But around the refuse areas, we've got ours boxed up. I put another box here. What's underneath it? They could come out from under the fuel tank, and bingo, we've nailed another one. That's two in the one session, right on the back of the noggin. Okay, the proper way to pick these up, if you don't want to use those protective gloves, get yourself a bag, plastic bag, put your hand in the bag, pick them up by the tail, like this, and then you don't have to touch them. You can turn the bag inside out, like that, and you've got your little critters there, and you can cart them off to wherever you want to. Mine, personally, are going onto my raptor feeding table. I don't put any on there that's been poisoned, only these ones like this that I know have been killed by the trap. And then, you know, all the predator birds like the red kites and the buzzards get a free meal as well. So just tip them out, put them on the bird feeding table, and then the big vultures come down for their din-dins. And they're up in the trees early in the morning, just waiting to be fed. So actually, it's all reprocessed, nothing is wasted. Well, there you go. You've seen it works. Make sure you box any traps that you put outside and put that tiny little, only needs barely be a ½ inch to an inch, for those rats and mice will get under there. Safety thing outside, you can see it works right along the edges of channels, runs as you know, and don't let those rodents get inside your house and destroy your furniture, your goods, or worse, your electrics, and you get a fire. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bit of fun doing it, and I'm still out there catching them, believe me. I think it's a battle I'm never going to win. Has anybody seen Mickey? Oh, my poor foot. Oh, my poor foot. I wish I didn't like cheese so much. Oh dear, look at it. I've got it all bandaged up. Well, you think it's funny? You think it's funny? Here, this is funny. Oh, it's my bad foot. I wish I wasn't addicted to cheese.